Welcome to the Divorced and Happy podcast, where we discuss all things Act 2. I'm your host, Sadie Marie. This month, I have been going solo and sharing what I've learned about myself since my divorce. I've talked about how much I love my independence and freedom post-divorce and how I, Sadie Marie, am a recovering good girl. No apologies. I have had a lot of discovery since my divorce. And one of my favorite discoveries is that I really enjoy sex after divorce. Like a lot. Sex after divorce is liberating. It's exciting. It's passionate. It's intense. It's creative. It's playful. It's freeing. It is so yummy. It's bold. It's sensual. It's delicious. Sex after divorce is all the things. It's all the things. And you know, when you really love something and you find it so amazing and mind-blowing, what do you want to do? You want to talk about it. And I will talk about sex with whoever wants to engage. My single friends, my married friends, and of course, the men I date. Those are the best conversations. I remember when I first started talking about sex after divorce with some of my married friends. And, I didn't really leave behind any details. So they'd be listening and their eyes would get bigger and bigger. It was like I was growing a horn out of my head. And then they'd say things like, "You did what?" Then my other married friends would call me up and we just cut to the chase. They'd say things like, "Yeah, just talk about the sex." And then my single friends, I'd tell my stories and they'd look at me like, "Sadie, what's the big deal? We've been doing this type of sex for decades," which I say, good for you, single friends. That is so fun. Sex after divorce is so fun. So a little backstory. Because I wasn't always standing on the rooftop screaming, "I love sex," like I am now. And maybe this story will sound familiar to some of you. I'm going to guess yes. But here's the deal. I was raised really, really religious. As in my dad was a minister, religious. As in I was the preacher's kid in a small town, religious. I was taught to be a very virtuous, good girl. And sex was not only a taboo topic, it was a big scary one, like horror film scary. Think alien abduction scary. Having sex would, turn me into a pillar of salt or blow me into a different stratosphere. You didn't mess with sex. Sex was scary. And because I was taught all these negative things about sex, I really never had much of it. And as we all know, if you don't do much of something, you definitely don't get comfortable and you certainly never get good at it. I was just never good at sex. It's pretty boring in the bedroom because I wasn't comfortable with sex. But then I got divorced. And like many things, which I talked about earlier this month in my Miss Independent episode, after my divorce, I decided I was going to give myself the freedom to enjoy sex a lot. I became giddy about sex. Like I was crushing on sex. I saw my sex life like a juicy movie montage. Just break out the Usher music and run a sexy sequence of steamy bedroom scenes with me and my various lovers. And after divorce, when I got my sex groove on, my body was doing things that it had never done before. Crazy. And it wasn't just me noticing it. It was the men I was intimate with noticing it. And I'd say, "Did I just do that?" And they would say, "You just did," which was just so much fun, by the way. I mean, I had no idea. For decades, I had no idea how good sex could be. None. No clue. And now I want to tell the world. I want to tell the world how amazing sex is after divorce. I've been so excited about my sex life post-divorce that I was even part of a sex club for a while. I know that sounds illegal. It wasn't. It was like a book club, but instead of talking about books, we ladies would talk about sex. I highly recommend it. It's very freeing, very naughty, and very freeing. We ladies, we need to talk about sex more. I think men are a little better at that. I'm just going to generalize right here. But I think we ladies, we need to swap more sex stories because one thing I've noticed about when women get together, we always talk about our kids. but we really don't talk about how we created them, do we? It's time. Ladies, it's time. We're in midlife now. We get to talk about sex. Lots of sex. So start your sex clubs and spill it. And now I'm going to spill it with you. And I'm going to share 10 tips on how you can have the best sex after divorce. Here we go. Tip number 1, learn to enjoy having sex with yourself. Learn to enjoy having naughty, dirty, delicious sex with yourself. Buy yourself a vibrator. Buy yourself 2 vibrators. Put one on your nightstand. Put one in the shower. Put one in your purse. Take it on the go. Gentlemen, buy yourselves a cock ring. If you've never heard about a cock ring, that's unfortunate. Buy yourselves a cock ring. Put on a cock ring when you're masturbating. You'll like it, I promise. We all have nipples, right? If you're a man, you have nipples. If you're a woman, you have nipples. I say buy some nipple clips and enjoy that good vibration. And if you're curious about anal play, I say buy some toys. Try it out. You're the safest partner you'll ever have. Try some new things with yourself. Mix it up. Sex is a creative experience. Do some naughty talk. Do some naughty talk with yourself in the bedroom. Oh, you look so good. Tell yourself how good you feel. Tell yourself how much you like what you're doing to yourself. Have some naughty talk in the bedroom. Play some sexy music. Buy some satin sheets. Enjoy those solo date nights. Do some naughty stuff in the bedroom with yourself. That's tip number 1. Doesn't that sound so fun? Tip number 2, redefine sex. Okay, I had to redefine sex from being bad and awful and shameful and sinful to being an amazing way to connect, an amazing way to express myself, a delicious way to feel pleasure. Sex is such a wonderful, fantastic way to just enjoy being alive. Sex is one of my favorite ways to be a responsible adult. Sex is creative expression. Sex is life. Sex is a gift. Redefine sex. Redefine sex after divorce. All right. Tip number 3. Watch some ethical porn, why don't you? Watch some female-directed, female-produced porn. Watch some real people having sex, women directing it, men being sensual. Watch it with your vibrator. Watch it with a partner. Watch it with your partner and a vibrator and a bunch of other toys. Lean into some ethical porn. Ethical porn, you should really file this away. This is important because a lot of porn is very male-centric and not very female-centric. So I think we all should watch more ethical porn. Erica Lust is a great director of ethical porn. She's a great advocate for porn being ethical. I could say the word ethical one more time. Erica Lust, check her out. She's on Instagram. And I'm a big fan. Erica, be on my podcast. I love you. All right, tip number 4 on how to have the best sex after divorce. Be curious about sex in conversation with men or women, whoever you like to date. I mean, we talk about a trip before we go on one, people. We talk a lot about all the things we're going to do on our trip, where we're going to stay, what we're going to do, what we're going to eat, what we want to experience. All that anticipation makes it a lot more fun. So I say, talk about sex with the people that you're dating. Learn about what they like. What don't they like? What turns them on? What turns them off? What are they curious about? What have they done? What haven't they done? What do they want to do? Are they at a 6 and you're at a 10? You will learn a lot about an individual when you start talking about sex. I know I have. So talk about it. This is not a taboo topic. This is something we do every day, all the time. Talk about sex with people you're dating. Now, I definitely don't recommend that this is the first conversation you ever have with someone that you start dating. And if they bring it up in the first date, it's kind of a big red flag. But, after the 3rd date, talk about it. Lean in. And when you have those conversations about sex, it's a great time to talk about safe sex and sexual histories because, of course, we're in midlife now. We can have these conversations. We can adult this way. All right, tip number 6. Write down all of the experiences that you want to have with your newfound freedom in the bedroom. Write down all the crazy things you want to do. Write down every position you want to try. Write down all the toys you want to test out. Write down all the experiences that you want to have with sex. Yum. All right, tip number 7. Have a naughty bag. Have a naughty bag. Oh yeah, I said it. Have a naughty bag. And in this bag should be all the fun toys that you love. Should be your condoms. Try some flavored condoms. Why not? Have a naughty bag. Bring it with you. Take it on your trip wherever you go. Take it to your date's house. Have a little sexy outfit in your naughty bag. You can just pull it out when when you need it. Okay, speaking of naughty bags, tip number 8, lean into the lube. Lean into the lube. I did a podcast back in March with a sex therapist, Dr. Iana. Love her. She's based in Atlanta. Our episode is called Bedroom Boss, Post-Divorce Pleasure. Check it out. It was back in March. And she talked about lube a lot, water-based lube. And lube is important because you know what lube does? What makes everything more comfortable, but it also enhances orgasm. I did not know this. I did not know this for decades. I was missing out. So I have lots of lube around the house. Again, I have lube on my nightstand. I have lube in my shower. I have lube in my purse. Lean into the lube. Lube is your friend. It'll give you the best orgasms, I promise. Tip number 9, have more sex. If you've been divorced, I'm going to guess you at minimum, I could be wrong, had a partner for about 10 years. Like, you know, from the time you were dating, the time you got married, at minimum, a decade of your life, you've been with one person. But it's probably been longer, like 15, 20, maybe 25, 30 years, been with one person, having your beige, boring sex. So have more sex. You're divorced now. You're in midlife. You're a responsible adult. Have more sex. Have lots more sex. Have more sex. And I'm not just meaning with one person. Yeah, you can just have it with one person, but allow yourself to have as many partners as you want. Again, you're a responsible adult. You can take care of yourself. You know how to. You're going to have real conversations. So have more sex. Have lots of sex. Have more sex. I think I've said that enough now. Okay, moving on to tip number 10. My favorite one. Here we go. Say what you want to say in the bedroom. Say what you like. Say what you don't like. Say what you're really thinking. Say what you're really wanting. Say what you're really feeling. Say that naughty thing that you really want to say. Say what you want to say in the bedroom when you're having sex. I mean, you're naked with somebody doing intimate things. So it's time to say what you want to say. If you want them to give you oral sex, if you want to give them oral sex, how you like oral sex, how you want to use your vibrator, how they can put it here, put it there. Say what you want to say. Have fun. Sex is fun. And I have said what I wanted to say today about enjoying great sex after divorce. Now go and have the best sex of your life with yourself or with a partner or 2 or 3. It's been so fun going solo with you today, and I look forward to doing it every Thursday this month in July as we celebrate 6 months of Sadies Divorced and Happy podcast. Next month, I will have an amazing lineup of guests and some fun, playful tweaks and changes and additions to the podcast episodes. So stay tuned for that. You definitely don't want to miss out. If you've found value in this episode or have just been highly entertained, or if you've been enjoying my podcast for a while now, I would love for you to consider buying me a cup of coffee. It's easy. Just visit www.buymeacoffee.com/Sadie Marie, and you can buy me a cup or 2 online, and I thank you in advance for your support. Now, please be sure to follow, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. You can also follow Sadie's Divorced and Happy podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And be sure to visit us at divorcedandhappy.net. I'm your host, Sadie Marie, and I cannot wait to connect with you on the next podcast episode. Till then, enjoy your amazing divorced sex life. And as always, you take good care.